Morning. Oh, good morning. Well, I'm here with Miss Honey, who's not happy because she's locked here in the sunroom, as we call this little room on the back of the house, because the family's here and they have a dog. So we give each animal a turn having free reign of the house. And she's not one for sharing. She wants to know why the housekeeping staff has kept her sequestered in here. Well, she knows she's seen the dog. So I was looking at scanning some pictures yesterday, or looking through them, and I saw a picture of my dad when he was in the military in the Air Force in Alaska in the early 50s. I guess it was about 52. He was actually, I think, supposed to go to Hawaii. He was, I don't know, California or Chinook Field when the Korean War broke out. They decided they needed airplane mechanics. They had plenty of them in Japan and Hawaii. Where they really needed them was Alaska, because they were ramping up the patrols. So they, instead of going to Hawaii, he went to Alaska. You know, Hawaii, Alaska, same thing. Anyway, he was in a weather WB-29 squadron as a mechanic. And he, at some point, I don't know when, he managed to get special duty, being the person who ran the base hobby shop. So clearly, the model building gene runs in the family. Both my brothers built models. I built models. And he did this. The only kit he had, though, was they didn't have any kits up there. Put this picture up, you see the barrel behind him. I think it's a bunch of scrap wood. So apparently, whatever people made there, they pretty much were scratch building. But he did have a kit that he brought with him of a P6 Hawk. He did a beautiful job on it. Apparently, it didn't have a propeller, but and as a kid, this picture always inspired me. He was a little kid, so model building was definitely in my DNA. And that prompted a question, QOTD, question of the day. Were there any friends or family members that inspired you to build models, or you built models with? My dad built models. Then my older brother was a very active model builder, and of course, then I did, and my younger brother did. But since my younger brother and I are less than 3 years apart, we often built models together. And I've already bored you with that story about on my 11th birthday or whatever it was. We stayed up all night watching reruns of Batman, the movie, on TV while we built models till 2 in the morning. And we ran out of glue and paint just as we barely finished the last model. And that was the year I got a couple of those AMT ice cream tricycle kits, and I don't know why I kept getting those. And I seem to remember having 2 of them, but only one of them was ever on the shelf. So I'm not. It's been so long I forget. It's actually not a bad kit. Weird subject matter, but hey, then again, MPC also made a Stingray bicycle, so and was it Nito made 3rd scale fans, and several people have told me that it was not Nishimo, which I got from a Japanese language site. Some have said it's Nichimo, some have said it's Nichimo, that the Japanese don't inflect their vowels. So I've got like 3 or 4 different sources who all know more about Asian languages than I do, telling me about it. I do have a Japanese co-worker, so when I go back to work, I might ask her about that. But anyway, that aside, it brings up, who did you used to build models with, assuming you didn't just build them alone, which I imagine most of us did most of the time. Was there a buddy that built models? I actually remember some of my buddies that did not build models, but they'd get them as gifts. They'd give them to me to build, and I was more than happy to do it. And the one that sticks in my mind, I remember building a model car, like a Duesenberg, for, 'cause, 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 ' an adult family friend who'd gotten it. It had been a Christmas gift for his kid, but his son was too young to build them. And I remember feeling bad when I gave it back to him because I didn't have the skills to like put all of the wires and cables in the engine. I put the engine in it, but it didn't have like all the distributor cap wires and everything. I just couldn't really handle that. And he was like, "Oh, I don't care. He's just going to play with it." The kid was like 6 years old, 5 years old, and he was like, "Oh, that's okay." He destroyed it within a week. I was like, "Oh, I didn't feel so bad." Yeah, too bad. Nice kid. Well, I'd say it was a nice kid. I was, 10, 12 years old. Actually, they go together I don't think it was a Pyro. I don't remember who made that thing. Yeah, it might have been a Pyro. All I remember was it went together pretty well. I didn't have any problems building it, and it had a lot of detail. Oh well. I don't recall it being a common brand name though. I mean, one that because I usually built Monogram, Aurora, Revell. The what you might call the staple basics, Lindbergh. But I remember being disappointed. A friend of mine bought the good old, and I have two of them on the shelf, the good old fashioned Monogram P40B. And I built that kit several times. Like, "Can you build this for me?" Absolutely. And I whipped it out in a day because I didn't have any paint. So it was just a matter of building the model and putting the decals on it. I was like, well, which decals should I put on at Air Force? Because it came with 3 sets of decals even back then. And I think I put it in the Flying Tiger markings. So it's like the most famous. And I gave it to him. He was kind of disappointed. I thought he was bummed out I didn't paint. I go, "What's the matter?" So I put in, like Flying Tiger markings. He goes, "Oh, I wanted you to put all the decals on it." And he literally wanted me to just put all 3 sets of decals just all over the airplane and make it, like, as he put it, cool. Oh, I almost choked on my tongue. But building a model is kind of generally I think it's sort of a lonely thing. Well, not only lonely, but it's a solo thing. You do it by yourself. But there have been times I've built with other people, and it's kind of cool to talk, and have someone to chat with. Get a little distracted, slows you down, but it's very social. But I don't think you think of building models normally as a social thing while you're doing it. Now, something like this, where we're sharing stories, it's another story, and we love to show our models off to our friends, but or maybe show them the progress we've made. But I don't know. You guys give me some feedback on that. Tell me what you think. Do you have anybody you like building models with? My older brother built them, and he did help me build a couple of them. Like I've said before, he was the one who gave me the paints and instructed me on painting my very first model that I painted, the F5 and Freedom Fighter, and the camouflage scheme. And I think I mentioned I didn't even know why. Why does the Air Force have these yellow stars and bars? So it'll show up, and it didn't dawn on me. No, that's because it's the South Vietnamese Air Force. But and like I say, I built them with my brother from time to time. But there have been a couple other times I guess I built models with other people. Obviously, while I was in the hospital, but I only built that F-16, and I just messed that. That's got to be one of the worst builds I ever did. And it wasn't because I was laying in a hospital bed, although that didn't help, and didn't have any tools, and that didn't help. It was basically just because laying in a hospital bed's no way to build a model. And I was just building to keep my mind occupied, wasn't using any patience. And but some tools would have helped. Well, I believe that is about all I have got for this morning. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. And I guess tomorrow's Labor Day, so no mail. No big deal. Nobody I wanted to talk to that's not watching this video anyway. Man, I love my coffee. You guys have a great day, and let's see how much work I can get done on the Stagecoach today. Maybe I can have a fun evening report. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.